how did you start the company, and what did it take to get everything kind of off the ground?
So really, it was something that was always on the back burner from my wife, and we actually brought it to fruition. It just kind of worked out in a great way.
It really helps out a lot when you've got that kind of support.
Dude, I started out in my wife's Sportage.
Yeah.
And it was like leveling up on a video game. We started out in the Sportage, then I went to a small Ford Transit van, then I went to the big 1500 Ram van that I have, and now we have a full shop, down in Aurora off of 6th and I-225. So we've just taken calculated steps to get to where we want to go, and I think all of us that have businesses, we are relevant in the sphere and in our marketplace. Just because we're not as equivalent as a corporation doesn't mean that we're not important.
I'm gonna put it on 22, the volume.
Yeah. 22. That's cool.
All right, guys. Yeah, I'm sitting here with Richie that owns The Gritty. It's a car wash and detailing place here in Colorado in North Denver, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and so tell me a little bit about your story and how you got into the business.
Well, yeah, thanks, Chris, for having me. Again, my name is Richie. I'm with The Gritty Company. So we do restyling, customization, and restoration. I started the business back in 2019, which is kind of an accident. My wife, Diva, was just, hey, you clean cars very well. And I was also connected with a car club. And I did some cleaning for my friends and family just on the side. It wasn't anything to make money off of or anything like that. Just to help out, especially with my mother-in-law, things like that. So it just kind of grew from there. My wife was like, why don't we just make it a business? Because at the time, we were taking care of our father-in-law, which has Alzheimer's and dementia, and she couldn't spare the time from work to actually give him full care, but I could. So that flexibility, coupled with actually starting off a business, was kind of the perfect combination for us to get started.
Nice. That's amazing. And it's nice to have support from your family and your wife in getting into the business, and really just having that support. And it sounds to me like your wife kind of had the idea of you starting your own business and getting into it.
Yeah.
And how does running your business affect your relationship with your family and with your wife?
Oh, well, actually, it's funny because my wife, years ago when she was in college, she actually formulated a business plan dealing with mobile detailing. So she already had, she was basically the brainchild behind it. And it just kind of connected the dots, because at the time we were thinking like, okay, what can we do to maximize some income?
Yeah.
But not actually reworking at a brick and mortar place and having that control of flexibility as far as time and things of that nature. So really, it was something that was always on the back burner from my wife, and we actually brought it to fruition. It just kind of worked out in a great way at this point in time to be able to implement that type of business now.
Yeah. And does she still work with you inside the business?
Yeah, she does all the logistics, all the behind the scenes stuff like that. She's kind of the boss lady behind all of that, so she keeps me kind of straight.
Yeah.
I'm the impulsive. She's the consigliere that's like, hey, we need to walk down the mountain, and I'm just more like, all right, let's go get it.
Nice. That makes for a good relationship for sure. Like if you can make the yin and the yang of the business work. I know my wife works with me, and she'll do the accounting, some of the back end stuff, and help me in the day-to-day grind. And it really helps out a lot when you've got that kind of support.
Yep.
You had mentioned too that you kind of got started in some of your car clubs, and you started those car clubs. I want to know more about that. How did those start?
So like I said, I was always been a car guy and everything like that. So back in 2016, I got the bug. I actually, it's again, my wife again, she's the catalyst of all this chaos. So for a present, she got me a present to be able to drive a Lamborghini Spider through the Table Mountains.
Nice.
And after that, it was like an hour ride. I was able to drive and everything. I was like, okay, I can't get that, but I got to get something close. So I ended up getting a Camaro SS, and from there, I actually built a chapter called the Mile High Head Turners in 2017, and we went from Vegas to Wyoming, to Utah and places like that, because there were also chapters all over the U.S. So I built it to about like 50 to 60 members back in 2017, and then towards the turn of 2020, especially with my father-in-law and things of that nature, having to take care of him, I had to step away from that. And I still had the drive and passion as far as just enjoying vehicles and muscle cars and cars of all nature. So probably around 2020, I ended up actually buying like a Charger Hellcat, which was
Ooh, nice.
707 horsepower and things of that nature, and fully modified that. It was an Iron Man theme. My best friend and I, we went out to Texas and Dallas, and there was a big event that's called the Wham! We Are Mopar. Had about 3,500 vehicles, and we hit top 100 out of 3,500 vehicles. But the coolest part is we got to get on the speedway, and allegedly I did about 185 to 200 miles an hour. So
Yeah.
it was
Would
pretty
the
awesome.
speedometer not go up that high, or what?
No, it did. It did.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
But
was
you
awesome.
were looking down. You were looking on the road,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Nice.
It was pretty awesome.
So in your car club, I mean, would you guys just do car shows and stuff, or would you guys do
there-
races other than the one you just
Yeah,
talked
well,
about?
well, different car clubs. A lot of people have the stigma about they just meet and everything like that. But a lot of car clubs are charity driven, community based. Some car clubs, especially dealing with the head turners more specifically, they're community based. They do a lot of fundraisers and things like that, kids drives, anything dealing with the holidays, especially veterans and things like that. So that's what's also about it, just gravitating and opening the minds of people who don't understand that type of life and that type of culture. And like with that too, it's just the car culture, it seems to be divided, but because there's exotics, there's domestics, there's imports. But with the car club I formulated, it was just basically, let's just have all walks of any types of vehicles that are of that high caliber to be able to join. And also that means all types of people, all types of demographics, all types of races, all types of culture. I mean, we live in a society that's a melting pot, and we should be able to embrace that and celebrate that, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Were you able to like set up membership fees and everything like that, or would you
Yeah,
do
we
it
had
for
some.
free? Or
Yeah, we had some membership fees. Nothing where it was, nothing that would. It was a massive amount of coin. It was just more about showing your integrity, your loyalty, your commitment to the car club, and just making sure that it grows in a positive light. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and when you're in a club like that, you want to keep your cars obviously in a pristine condition all the time.
Yeah.
And so that's what kind of rolled you into
Correct.
your business, which
Correct.
is detailing cars
Correct.
and doing all that stuff. So
Yeah.
you started the company in 2022, and how did you start the company, and what did it take to get everything kind of off the ground?
Well, like I said, we started in 2019. So to make a long story short, we used to be called Nitty Gritty Detailers. But the funny thing is that trying to say that over the phone or say that to people, it just didn't roll off the tongue really well. And with COVID, it was just kind of like a rebirth, so to speak, a restart. So we're still that parent company. We have that name for government tax purposes because that was our EIN.
Is that your LLC?
Yeah. So we just shortened it and just said, hey, you know what? Let's just call ourselves the Gritty Company. And then, it just grew from there. So in 2022 was just kind of our restart. And we just retooled everything, retweaked everything. It was just basically we grew just organically, just by word of mouth. We still charge for our services and things like that. We came in at competitive prices with all our detailing services. Dude, I started out in my wife's Sportage.
Yeah.
And, it was like leveling up on a video game. You started out in the Sportage. Then I went to a small Ford Transit van. Then I went to the big 1500 Ram van that I have. And now we have a full shop, down in Aurora off of 6th and I-225. So we've just taken calculated steps to get to where we want to go. And we're reaching those goals. Actually, we're trending a lot faster than we expected. So for us, that's pretty awesome. But at the same time, I don't like to use the stigma of the small business. I like to use startup business because small just feels insignificant. I think all of us that have businesses, we are relevant in the sphere and in our marketplace. Just because we're not as equivalent as a corporation doesn't mean that we're not important. And I really champion that because I believe that everything starts from somewhere.
Yeah.
We all have some type of inception. We all have some type of humble beginning to get to our goal. And that's what we offer with our business. It's a mom and pop experience with professional execution.
Yeah. That's awesome to see that you started at such a, startup level,
Right.
and built your way up. How do you get your customers, and how were you able to create cash flow right from the beginning?
Well, that was very, very difficult. At the time, of course, you always have to have working capital. You have to have a nest egg. So my wife and I already had, working capital and a nest egg. So what we started with was with word of mouth. We started through the Google sphere with the SEO. Then we went to, of course, the staple of social media, dealing with Instagram. Then we went to TikTok, and then of course with Facebook, because of course you can create your own Facebook business page. And then from there, we went to another platform, which was networking locally in our area. So word of mouth seems to be the biggest paramount as far as really getting your business out there, because people don't realize word of mouth. Word of mouth comes from either experience, or they're speaking for you from a reputation standpoint. They know what you stand for, and then they have more of something to bite on to speak to you directly than a client just going online and looking us up online and trusting what they see.
And what differentiates you from everybody else when you get to the online presence? You know what I'm saying? And like, I love word of mouth advertising because it's the cheapest form of advertising. And usually you got to be effective. You got to do a great job to get that word of mouth for people to refer you and get more business off of it. And so now you probably got a customer base of, how many people do you have now that come to you for
we're looking
needs?
at probably about 250.
Okay.
250. We try to separate and differentiate between client and customer. Our goal is to get a client, because a client is more long term. And then, like you said, to your point, client is basically your organic business card, because they've experienced all your processes. I mean, the great part about this is now my clients, actually right now I have a client in the shop that I've had for almost 2 years, and I've serviced every vehicle in his family. And I remember that because I was at SEMA 2 years ago, and he calls me and he says, "Hey Richie, I just got my brand new 2023 Audi RS5. I need you to do ceramic coating. I want everything, this, that, and the other." And I did that about 2 years ago, and he drops off his vehicle again this weekend. He says, "Hey, I need a renewal." And that's the great part, just having that constant flow of those trusting clients.
Yeah. Every time they buy a new car, or they need to get their car detailed, or they need some work done to it, they think of you, right?
Automatically.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's building a great reputation. What are all the services that you provide in your business? Because I know you do some other things too.
Awesome, Chris. Now that's an excellent question, because that is the reason, as you know, with growth, with scaling, you touched on it. I mean, that's the cornerstone of it, as far as having that differentiation and having that growing potential to separate you from, honestly, from your competitors. We don't consider people in our sphere that we do competitors. We consider it, it's a collaborative effort. We're all trying to, achieve this goal of not only profitability but sustainability, but also everyone gets help. So the services that we introduced now, since we have a brick and mortar, are we have vinyl wrap, we have graphic wrap, so we can do commercial and personal vehicles. Then we also have window tinting, so we do ceramic and nano ceramic window tinting on any type of vehicle that you have, including window visors if you need it. And then we also offer what is called chrome delete. So if you look on the outside of the vehicle, you see chrome accents. We can actually use a vinyl wrap to cover those over in any color that you want. So that way you're like, hey, I want it to be more of a black color. I want it to match the vehicle. I don't want it to stand out as well. We offer ceramic coating as well. So that protects the paint of your vehicle.
Is that like a step up from wax?
Yeah. So ceramic coating is a completely different animal. So basically what it does is it freezes and protects the paint at that particular stage as far as the paint is concerned. And we are certified in System X. So all of our installers are well versed and know how to install that
And
without a
is
problem.
System X the procedure that you guys use, or the technology that you guys
The
use?
System
or
X is actually the
Product?
manufacturer.
The
Yeah,
manufacturer.
the
Okay.
product, yes.
Okay, cool.
So that's what we use, yeah. And then we also offer what is called paint protection film, but for everyone knows it as clear bra. So paint protection film has come a long way. The technology is just awesome. The last SEMA event I went to, now you can actually apply PPF or clear bra over the entire vehicle. So basically, it's a clear product that basically you put over all points of the vehicle, and it basically protects you from rock chips, UVs, bird poop, any type of contaminants. It protects a vehicle, and it's great for people that use their vehicles as far as like in competition, as far as racing on tracks and things like that, because it protects it from all the debris just beating on the paint.
Yeah. Would you would you recommend doing that entire wrap like that, like the clear brow wrap that you talked about, like the performance film, or would you prefer like the ceramic coating for the whole car, or doing both?
It just depends on, and I'm glad we peel back the layers. So that's, again, like you said, about being different. So here's the mom and pop experience that we give, as opposed to everyone else. So I'd ask you, hey, Chris, what do you use the vehicle for?
Yeah. So with me, I do have a Camaro just like yours. It's a 2010. So let's talk about that one. I would say that I use it just to go out and about.
Yeah.
Doesn't get a lot of miles on it, but I try to keep it clean, and it's just a fun car to drive.
Yeah.
But I take it, golfing or on date nights or to work or whatever. But it's got to be a nice day to take it out, right?
So you basically keep it in the garage, right?
Yeah, I keep it in the garage.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then on that, you probably just, like you say, you just take it out for special events or on the weekends when you just kind of, you want something to get away from the actual work vehicle and have a good time with it, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in that case, it just depends on you basically, what your paint condition is, because what we do is we offer a consultation.
Yeah.
So either you can bring the vehicle to our shop, or we can meet you at your location, take a look at the vehicle. And our goal is to basically make sure that we are taking into account your lifestyle and your function with the vehicle.
Yeah.
Because we're not here to sell you anything. If I tell you, hey man, I think we should put, vinyl wrap on it, you're going to be like, that's not what I'm asking for. That doesn't connect to your lifestyle, and you don't find value in that.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing is when we are trying to introduce anything that's a protected or a customization or a restoration property to someone's vehicle, we want to make sure they walk away and they understand the value, and it's going to contribute to their lifestyle, not to just looking to having a cool vehicle.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, no one cares about a cool vehicle. They care about, hey, how is this me spending this type of money in this investment is value and accents my lifestyle? How does that fit? So that's how we pose our questions, so people understand that, wow, they're just not trying to sell me anything. They're making sure that they're appealing to my questions and taking care of whatever issues or problems or whatever upgrades that I want up front.
Yeah, that sounds like a great customer experience.
Yeah.
I know with me, my Camaro, it's black, and that's a good thing and a bad thing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because it looks the best when it's super clean, but I got to clean it all the time. But it's hard to keep clean, right?
So in your case, ceramic coating would be great, because ceramic coating, basically, you'll never have to wax it. You'll never have to polish it. You can use a low, mild pH soap, spray it off, and just come back to showroom shine every single time.
Nice. Would you have to dry it off, too, after you're done washing it?
Yeah, you can dry it off with a nice microfiber towel. It takes like 5-10 minutes. It's nothing. It basically, with ceramic coating, for people who are not like in car shows or whatever, it's just basically a great, functional, very simple protectant. Plus, it also adds value to the vehicle. So because, of course, with Camaros or muscle cars or things like that, you definitely want to hold that resale value as much as you can.
Yeah.
So if you can protect that paint,
you
can protect that paint and it looks great, it looks pristine, then you can demand the price that you want when it comes to that day when you're like, you know what, kind of want to sell it.
Yeah, it's really literally like putting an investment into your investment to try to get more out of this when you go to sell it.
Correct.
Yeah. So, and then do you usually, you probably work on everybody's cars, but do you work on a lot of older type muscle cars and stuff? Are you mostly like high performance vehicles?
We take in all types of vehicles, from we call them the daily drivers, to even Dodge Caravans, to big work trucks.
Do you guys do motorcycles and stuff too?
Yeah, we have a guy, a teammate that he does motorcycles. So basically anything with wheels we can pretty much take care of. It just depends on the service. It depends on the service, on what we have to do with it. Then we would have it to actually come to the shop. Something like if you wanted ceramic coating, would actually have to bring to the shop for a couple of days because there's a curing process, there's a bonding process, there's paint correction involved and all that kind of stuff, decon washing. And we walk you through that process so you understand that. The thing is, we peel back the layers. So you know exactly from start to finish what is happening with your vehicle. And we also send you pictures and updates at the end of the day, a quick text, a lot of bullet points letting you know what's going on. Or if we notice anything with your vehicle, we say, hey, Chris, I noticed that you have this on your vehicle. Do you want us to take care of it or not? So that way you know, wow, they're actually touching all parts of the vehicle. They're doing a thorough inspection, which we do when we take in your vehicle. We have a checklist, you sign it. But you also see the progression of your vehicle because that also manages expectations and that gets you excited to get your vehicle back. You're like, man, it looks like that. And we're like, dude, we haven't even got there yet. You know
and
what I
nobody
mean?
even wants to drive it because it's like pristine, right?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Don't want to get it dirty again.
Yeah.
So, and then in your shop and everything, how many employees do you have at this moment?
We have 5 and 5 that are
Does that include you too and your wife?
No.
Okay.
We have 5, just the Team Gritty. We have 5. We probably, with the 5 team members that we have, we're looking at about 20 years of experience, solid. And they're all well versed in certain areas. So, of course, with paint protection, film, and ceramic coating, and vinyl wrap, and window tint, we all have, each member that is well versed in being able to take care of a vehicle. So when a vehicle's there, you don't be surprised to see 2 people working on your vehicle, but they're working and
Different
performing
things.
in different skill sets in order to produce a great product.
Do you have them in different departments and stuff too, or basically they just work on whatever their skill set is, whether it's window tint or detailing or whatever?
Yeah, we have two departments. One is the mobile seat side, mobile team, and then we also have the shop team. So we have a team supervisor for both sides, but they're also proficient in all the areas of dealing with restyling, customization, and restoration. I oversee them all, and then I have a person that's the second person under me. If I'm not available, she oversees them and makes sure everything's done.
Gotcha.
So.
I was going to ask you, what does it look like in your day-to-day grind in the business every day?
Especially around this time, it's pretty slow. But it's great because we have to flip that perspective. This time in Colorado, I think for a lot of businesses, it's basically, okay, let's just plant some seeds. Let's get out, let's hustle, let's talk with people, let's show our face, let's network and things like that. I mean, because we're looking at probably the end of December till about probably April. It's just dropping seeds. We still have work that's coming in, but not as abundantly as once we hit that spring from April till September. We're going to be pretty busy. But also we have to take into account we are a new shop that has a new space. So we have to change the habits and mentality of our former clients too as well with our marketing team to say, hey, guess what? It's not just mobile anymore. They actually have a shop.
Yeah.
So now we have to make that transition for all of our previous clients and our new clients to say, wow, they actually have a shop. They have a brick and mortar. It's available. It's convenient. Let's go there.
Yeah. Are you getting a lot of people coming into your shop, just like foot traffic or anything like
Yeah,
that?
we'll get some foot traffic, and it's great. Our shop is very upscale, very high end. Like I said, our determining thing is to erase the stigma of, oh, you walk into a small little phone booth type of area, it's oily, it's nasty, it's dirty. Ours is completely different.
Yeah.
I mean, we have white leather like seats and like
that's dangerous.
we have a 70-inch TV that you can watch whatever you want. We have another 55-inch TV that has a lot of infomercials and things like that. Very clean, very pristine. If you want some coffee, we got a Keurig for some coffee. You want some water, whatever the case may be. We want to make it so when you're there, you can enjoy it. If someone has to sit there, they can log on the Wi-Fi and take care of some work or whatever the case may be, instead of just being, okay, now I got to find a way to get to work, or I got to find someone to pick me up and all that kind of stuff. We'll even request an Uber for you if you have somewhere to go. We are that's the way we stand out, and we make it, more interactive and more just something that you enjoy it. I've had so many customers come in and they're like, wow. And they'll stop and, wow, this is awesome. Because now they realize, and as well as you do too, appearance and professionalism and impression is everything.
Yeah, it's the whole experience,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I love the fact that you talked about, from start to finish, the entire experience, getting the word of mouth, advertising out there, really giving your people more value than the money that they're spending.
Correct.
And I think that that's really one of the keystones to any sort of business, to stay in business, to be successful, to continue to grow and reach new levels. And it sounds like, you've done the right things. You've hustled hard enough to really keep going, keep growing. What's kind of the plan as you continue to get bigger with your retail spot that you have now? Do you want to continue to grow? Do you want to have more locations? Do you want to get more employees? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, we already, my wife and I, we've invested. We figured, it's going to take, a good 15 years.
Yeah.
That's, the average. They tell you the average life is 10 years before you really start seeing a return on your investment, and 15 years when you really, get where you want to go. So we're in it for the long haul. I'm a car guy. I know I'm going to be that 75, 85-year-old dude. They're like, dude, go home. Like, go home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with that, yeah, we definitely like to grow with our location. We have a cool idea that right now it's its infantile stages as far as just making it an immersive experience when you come to our shop, where we want it to have where you can have a coffee, you can watch sports, you can play simulated games, anything from golf to basketball to anything like that. So we want to have a space that accommodates that. So and it's not just for guys, it can be also for girls, for families. We want to have it where if a car club or a bike club or whatever wants to have a meeting, they can have it there.
So basically going back to the club vibes, having a car club with maybe a bar inside and somewhat of a man cave or your garage.
Yeah, or we can have, if people want to have icebreakers, team builders there.
Yeah.
We want to have it so it's a hub, so it's not just, I've learned here too, especially with what you have as well, bars are basically like social constructs of a community.
Yeah.
People
That's a good way to put it.
You know what I'm saying? People don't realize
that.
It's just, hey, this is where you make some of your lifelong friends. You have some people that have met like their mates here that got married or whatever, or they had the best like business deal ever because they were in a comfortable, relaxed environment. And that's what we want to present to our community, to say, hey, you know what, we're going to merge this, cool upscale like deal with actually getting your car restyled. So it's just like, to me, I think about it just like if you go to Disney, you got kids and everything like that. You go to Disney, you pay for the tickets, the plane tickets, you pay for a hotel, you pay for the admission and all that good stuff. But when you get there, your kid's like, hey, I want this, or hey, let's eat this, that, and the other. You get back home and you realize, whoa, we spent a lot of money. But what's the first thing that you're going to say to anyone that says, hey, how was Disney? Man, we had an awesome experience.
Yeah, it really is all about the experience and the memories, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And it sounds like, you can build something where people come back almost on a daily basis too, and even don't
just hang
have
out.
To, yeah.
Just hang out.
Yeah. So could you build that in the space that you're in now, or would you have to grow?
No. Yeah, we would have to grow. I mean, right now we have a space that's 1,600 square feet, which is great for us right now. I've learned in business that you got to walk down the hill. Like you have to, because when you're at an infantile stage, like I said, you don't have the working capital to support that. But also you have to understand there's an evolution, there's a cycle to that, because in order to be able to handle that volume, you also have to have your client base to be able to support that.
Yeah.
So if you're
and the cash flow to support it, right?
Yeah. So if you grow too big too fast, it's great, but the space is empty.
Yeah. A lot of people don't look at it like that. Everybody wants to come in and be the CEO immediately, or jump the steps, or get rich quick. It really is a grind, and I like the fact that you talked about it.
This is
10
the
to
long
15
game.
years.
It's
it really is the long game. And I love the fact that you also talked about you'd be doing this when you're 85 years old, because it's something that you found that you have passion in, right?
I'll
and you love the cars, you love the people. That's really good. What are some of the most important lessons that you've learned in running your business and being an entrepreneur?
Take your time. Do a lot of research. Start. Don't wait. Just start. Whatever you got, just start.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where you're going to cut your teeth. Nothing's, I don't care who tells you this, the billionaires of the world or whatever, nothing's ever going to be perfect. It's never going to go smooth. You just have to manage your mistakes. You have to
Try to limit the mistakes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You have to be able to forecast, and the biggest part for me is just having patience. Like you have to have patience. You have to give it time to grow. You have to give it time for people to get accustomed to whatever service or product or whatever you're presenting. You have to give it time. So for me, those are the biggest nuggets of information that I can provide. Don't be so quick. There's a lot of unfortunate scams online. Don't be so quick to throw your hat in the ring. And I get it because we're naive. You're naive. I mean, I went to business school. I have a master's in human resources management, but still, it's nothing. It pales in comparison to the real world. And you can be very green. And unfortunately, there are a lot of scammers out there that take advantage of startup businesses because we don't know any better. So you're trying to, optimize your SEO, or you're trying to get your footprint on Google or whatever, and all these real, like you said, back to those get quick screen. Hey, if you give $1,000, we'll do this, that, and the other. It's a bad mix.
Yeah, or a lot of consultants too, right?
Oh, gee.
Yeah.
And coaches.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many coaches.
I don't think that all of them are bad, but in a sense, like, you got to be very careful on what you do. My advice or experience would be find somebody that's doing it the best at their
Correct.
abilities
Correct.
and ask them good,
Correct.
knowledgeable questions that
Correct.
can help you on your path.
Correct.
Find some mentors.
Correct.
Find some good people to work with.
Yeah, and to your point, that's the thing. You'll see a lot of these Instagram or Facebook, coaches or entrepreneurs or whatever. It's to your point. Do a lot of research on them. Like, dig into their background, dig into their social media presence, things like that. If you don't see any traffic, if you don't see any followers or anything like that, even some of that's fabricated and bought and manufactured. I believe actions speak louder than words, to your point. How can someone teach you or coach you or anything like that if they don't have the experience, if they don't
Right.
have any traction, if they don't have any real world experience, and they don't have any successful experience? And don't always go with the people that tell you they're super successful. The ones that are great, that are successful, the ones that fail and get up and try again.
Yeah.
The ones that have been beating themselves and beating on that company to get it to where it's at. Because what's going to be great about that is all of their difficulties and all of their stressors and everything that they've experienced, they can tell you, okay, these are the pitfalls that you need to be aware of and how to navigate around them.
Yeah, for sure. I know one of my favorite quotes is, failure isn't the opposite of success. Failure is a part of it.
Right.
And the most successful people in the world are the ones that fail the most times. Everybody's got to get up. They've got to keep going. They've got to keep grinding. And, I heard another quote too just recently. The difference between a white belt and a black belt is a black belt is somebody who just persisted and kept going. They're the white belt that just kept going, right?
Yeah, that's pretty
and,
much
and
it.
it's like, running your business. You just got to have the time. You got to be patient. You got to just keep grinding and fall in love with the process.
Yeah.
And one of the things too, people need to understand when they're looking at people on Instagram or trying to find a coach or a mentor or anything, if anybody's asking for money right off the bat and they're not giving you value, I would really steer clear from that. A lot of people like you will come in and help somebody out over lunch or answer questions and stuff.
No problem.
And all of us entrepreneurs are kind of like a club, right?
Yeah.
We all want to help each other out. We all want to see each other succeed because we're, in the trenches together.
Right.
And nobody understands what it takes to really have the grind, keep going, and keep a good positive attitude when stuff, when shit hits the fan, right?
And that goes back to one of the core principles that I learned when I was in my master's program. It's called SWOT. So it's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And here's the thing that you have to understand. You have to be able to divide how you personally feel from business ethics and how things go in business, because in reality, what happens in business doesn't line up with how your personal ideals. And you have to be able to set that aside. And it's very difficult because, especially if you're passionate about your business and it's a plan A thing, there's no plan B. This has to work. This is all I got. I'm putting everything into it. You know what I mean? So you have to understand that you are your face of your business. So, and I had to understand that too with my weaknesses. I have a poker face. I can't play poker. I would lose. So I have to understand my wife is great at that. She's great at the PR part of it. So I know you have to know yourself well enough and be self-aware to say, okay, you know what? this is something that I'm not great at. I need to find another resource that is great at doing that. And that's in all parts of business. You definitely need a team from start to finish, but you need a team that's passionate, that's honest, and they look at the collective good of, okay, what are we trying to do to make this business successful? And to your point, where you have these coaches and networking that are asking, oh, it's only 2,000 or 3,000, this, that, and the other. But when you're a startup business, that 2,000 could take care of your rent.
Yeah.
That 2,000 can buy you more equipment. That 2,000 can buy you brochures and things like that to pull in clients or customers. So to your point, when they're asking you off the bat and they're not doing any analytical study on you to see where your business is at this point in time before they decide to join you in a venture, then there's something wrong with that, because they're not identifying where your business is at and how are you connected to the business and what your trajectory or plans, like you've asked me, where do you want to see your business 5, 10, 15 years from now?
Yeah.
That's just not good at all.
Yeah, for sure. That's really well spoken and good said. So, and you said you got your master's in business and human resources. After college, did you go straight into the corporate world?
Oh man.
Or did you go straight into being an entrepreneur?
Oh man, I was in the corporate world on the education side. So I was
That's cool.
an advisor and a director on the education side as far as bachelor's, master's, and doctorate. I do have a year and a doctorate as well. But again, that comes down to, at the end of the day, it came down to ethics for me and my moral compass. After a while, like some of the universities are really just like corporations.
Yeah.
And they want you to sell that product. They want you to fit a square peg into a round hole. And I just can't believe putting people into debt. I mean, and everybody's not cut out for college. We have trades, we have cosmetology, you have different, avenues of learning at the next level that people can embark on. I mean, you look at the staples of our community or our society, you have anything from policemen to doctors, to lawyers, to engineers and things like that. Doesn't mean everyone has to go through college. Some people thrive in a technical school for 2 years and they come out master mechanic. So
you said you got a master's in business human resources.
Yes.
A year into your doctorate.
Yeah.
Do you think that you learned more going to school, or did you learn more in your years of being an entrepreneur?
Dwarfs in comparison. I've learned more in the real world.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. The education aspect of it gives you the framework. So the logistics, the behind the scenes of it, from anything from your taxes to accounting, to your EIN number, to your LLC and all that kind of stuff, that's great for what you'll learn from the pillars of education. But actually interacting with people, sharpening your skills as far as talking and negotiation and things like that, or just dealing with everyday clients. Everyone comes with their own, deal, and you have to learn to try to keep a neutral perspective. And if you have someone disgruntled, you can't take that personally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and if you personalize it, it's gonna be to your detriment.
Yeah.
Because then you're gonna have knee-jerk reactions, and that's gonna rub off on your business. So sometimes, I mean, I've had it happen. We've all had it happen. An angry, client, everything. You've done everything you could, and it's just like a basketball game where you got to take the L. It's like I got to take that loss, but you try to do whatever you can to instill in them that, hey man, we had all the greatest intentions of executing whatever product or said service, and we apologize that it didn't meet your expectations. How can we correct that moving forward?
Yeah.
And then some people are just, they don't budge. So what can you do,
Yeah, definitely. Do you kind of have the same mindset with dealing with employees as well? Or how do you deal with difficult employees?
I don't call them employees. They're my teammates.
Okay.
My thing
I
is,
like
my
that.
philosophy with me is, and I came from that corporate structure and all that kind of stuff. I just never liked that. And plus I was also in the military too. I believe working side by side. I don't lead from the front and I don't lead from the back. I'm just side by side in the trenches. I'll never ask them to do something that I won't do. And I always tell them, look, this is a partnership. You work with me. You don't work for me.
Yeah.
I'm no better
Yeah,
than
good.
you. Like
It's,
that's just, you have to create, if you want to create a great, just social, fun culture, atmosphere. I mean, I had one of my teammates come up to me and he's like, dude, I totally screwed up on this window tint. And I was like, okay. And he just looked at me like, that's it? I'm like, yeah, what do you need? I'm there to facilitate your success.
Yeah.
If you have a failure, it's gonna happen. That's what happens. But I'm not here, and I could tell he was from that toxic atmosphere where it's like, okay, the crap's gonna hit the fan. I don't believe in that. Just, hey, I'm a person, give me the baby, let me fix it.
Yeah.
I'd rather know than not know.
Yeah. It sounds like you build a really good culture, and it sounds like you're a really good leader too.
Yeah.
And that was instilled with your background and being in the military
Yeah.
and everything too. I love the idea of, having teammates rather
Right.
than employees, because
Right.
I feel the same way. I think that we should empower our people, right?
Right.
And we should give them a sense of ownership
Right.
because we are in all of this together.
Yeah.
And, sometimes it can be really difficult, but, it takes some time to figure things out and work with people. And that's like, having the same people for a long period of time and not having turnover.
Right.
And really, giving people a sense that they belong.
Right.
And it's a sense
Ownership.
of perfect. Yeah. And then
Ownership.
they believe in your vision.
Right.
Then it can really help your business succeed and help
Yeah.
you grow.
Yeah.
So I've always felt the same way in doing all that stuff. So, and then what do you think is the best part of being an entrepreneur?
Freedom.
Yeah, that's mine too.
Yeah. Freedom, though, it does come with a price. It does, the work-life balance. It's a dynamic. The good thing is just my wife and I, we don't have any kids or whatever. We just got 3 small dogs, so they have a 3-second memory, so it's cool. It's that freedom to, and I'm not saying freedom as far as you can do anything you want, but freedom in your business space to create whatever you want or to manifest whatever ideas that you want that can propel your business in a positive way. I learned early on, my wife can attest to it. I was just like, yeah, we'll do this, we'll throw this, that, and the other. My wife's like, you're in your own head though, and that's great. But everyone else, if a stranger looks at this, they're not gonna get where you're going. So you have to learn, like, with that freedom, it comes some responsibility. Yeah, that's from Marvel. It's kind of corny and Spider-Man. But you have to learn to say, okay, I need to hone this down and simplify this.
Yeah.
And so when your customer, for example, looks at this, they know what this is. Not where it has a whole bunch of writing and things are going this, that, and the other way, because you only have 3 to 5 seconds to capture someone's interest.
Yeah.
And then once you get their interest, now you're trying to keep their attention.
Yeah.
So with your branding, with whatever you're presenting to the consumer base, make sure it's simple, it has a point, and they understand it. And once they understand it, then they'll start to adopt it and say, you know what, guess what? That's something I'm interested in. It's got my attention. I want to get that, or I want to buy that. So I had to learn with that freedom, you gotta scale it down and simplify it so your point gets across immediately.
Yeah, that's really well said. And I love the freedom too. It's the freedom to be in charge of your own destiny.
Yes.
Yeah, to be able to do the things that you want to do, to have the work-life balance to the best of your abilities. Do you have good work-life balance in your life?
Yeah, I mean,
And it sounds like you work with your wife and stuff too.
Yeah.
So that should help a little bit, or I don't know if it hurts.
Yeah, we're very interdependent. We're very non-traditional. We're not attached at the hip like most husbands and wives. Like right now, my wife's in Dubai. She's been in Dubai. She's been on the road for
Getting
2
clients
weeks.
over in Dubai.
Yeah, and that's for the business that she works for. And we don't have any problems with that. I mean, we communicate, we call, we text, and everything like that. But we've been married for 16 years, so it's just, for us, it's just naturalistic. And my wife always preached like we are a team, and I had to get used to that because I'm an only child, so I'm used to being in my own head, doing my own thing, executing my own thing. And my wife was smart enough and patient enough to figure it out. Like, he's not doing this on purpose. It's just that he comes from a military background, which she came from the police background. So she understands my mentality as a guy, and she has a younger brother. So she understands that mentality, and she's like, dude, I just need you to voice that to let me know where you're at so I can be on the same page.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's still a work in progress, I'll admit, but where we're at right now, work-life balance, it's perfect. I know her well enough to say, okay, you know what, like, for example, we always have annual parties like the Super Bowl party and this, that, and the other. I know she's coming back. I'm like, hey, babes, we're not going to have a Super Bowl party this year. You're going to get back. Your biological clock's going to be flipped upside down, and then you're back on the road again. We're not going to do that.
Yeah.
We're just going to have a relaxing night. We haven't seen each other in a while. Let's just take the, a couple of days off. And, so I know well enough where just working at it, it's never perfect, but working at it and being patient with each other and having that communication is huge.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's great. Have you started other businesses before too, or it sounds like your wife owns a separate business?
Yeah, she has her own business. Well, she works for Carmine right now, which is awesome. So she comes from the 911 background, the emergency system background. So she served 19 years as an operations manager at the police station in Aurora. So, the company tapped her on the shoulder, made her an offer that she couldn't refuse. So now she's in the public sector or the private sector, I should say, and she's enjoying it. She's been there for going on 4 years, and she loves to travel.
Yeah.
She's weird. She likes airports. So she loves to travel. I don't like airplanes. I don't like to fly. She already knows that. So I'm like, hey, have fun. But, from the onset, we've always been very open and vocal about like our business aspirations, our personal aspirations, our couple aspirations. So we've always put that on the table. So there was rarely any surprise in where we were going.
Yeah.
So it's just, okay, when we get here, all right, so how are we going to navigate this? How's this going to work out? Because we know this was on the table. So, okay, how do we get there? And as far as me, this is my first business. And man, it's a training.
Yeah.
It's a grind.
Well, and you mentioned a lot of this earlier too, but what are some of the things that you think you need in order to be successful? Or what are some of the things that you have to do the best at? Or what are some of the habits that you need in order to be successful in your industry and just for yourself?
Habits to give to someone else that's trying to think of a business.
Well, that or just what do you do to be successful?
For me, it's just tenacity, man. Just tenacity. Just getting after it every day. Being creative. Being open-minded. Not afraid to contact anyone. If you're
getting over the fears.
If getting over those fears, if you're an introverted person, you're not going to be very successful.
Yeah.
You gotta be customer facing. You gotta be able to deal with, the failures, which I call them challenges. The only time I think you fail is when you refuse to move forward. That's just what I think about. Like I just think about any tough day or bad day, that's a challenge. Now when it's a challenge, it's like, okay, now I have to figure out how can I solve this problem.
Yeah.
And it's a failure when you just refuse not to solve the problem or you just forfeit.
Yeah.
To me, that's when it's a failure. And all these, to me, it's just a great lesson in life. Just not business, man. With business for us, it's literally a do or die thing. There's no giving up. There's no folding. There's no going home because this is it.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, for me, I'm very passionate about it. So, I mean, I did this as a hobby. So it's not just, okay, if someone asked me, hey, if if your life was great, everything was financially taken care of, would you still do this for free? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Because I love what I do.
Yeah.
So if you can, and I thought that was the corniest thing when I was a kid. Find the job that, you don't feel like you ever worked a day in your life. And now I understand that. I'm like, that does make sense, because I do laugh and I'm like, wow, they're paying us to do this. And I love what I do. And that's what I impart to people that are in business, that want to open a business. Find something that you're passionate about. Find something that you think about 24/7. Find something that, even though nothing's really new under the sun, but find ways that if you're presenting a business, again, like you said, what sets you apart? What makes you unique? Is it the experience itself? Is it how you present the product or service? Is it, the full execution of it? Like, it could be even your where you're at. What we do here in Colorado, dealing with the Four Seasons, might not fare so well in a state like California.
Yeah.
So you really got to peel back the layers on your business and see if it can be a staple in that space, in that community, in that center, in that city, that's going to thrive. And those are the real hard questions that you have to ask, because we all want to be optimistic about when we open it. Oh yeah, it's gonna kill. It's gonna this, that, and the other.
It's like if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
Type of attitude. But
Yeah.
then you realize that it takes a lot more hard work and effort for people to come and to build up your business.
Right.
And it's a lot of, late nights, hard work, sleepless nights, all that stuff. And I like what you said too about the problem solving, because that's, I always say, people are like, well, what's your title here? And I say, it's CSP. That's my initials. And I call it the chief solver of problems. Right?
I like
so
that.
So basically everybody's going to come to you with their problems, whether they're small or big. And entrepreneurs, they got to realize the bigger the problems you solve, the better things will go and the more success you will have. So I think that, running into problems, it's consistent. You're going to do it all the time. And you just got to overcome. You just got to keep powering through. You just got to take care of it and not lose your cool and not take things over the top.
And that's the thing. I had to learn is you have to keep an even keel.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It is
difficult. Because that in the back of your mind, you're just like, like really? But you have to just, okay, this is what we're dealing with. Because I learned that it's about energy. It's about
it really
vibe.
is all about energy.
If you're going about it in a pessimistic way, then that solution's not going to come out the way you want it to come out. If you're going about it in a neutral, just optimistic way and saying, okay, here's the problem. I can't waste time on it complaining and doing all that. That's not solving the problem. We're just feeding it. So how do we defeat it? Okay, this is what we got to do. X, Y, Z. Okay, let's get this executed. Okay, it's not going to happen overnight. And a lot of people think in business, like, it's not going to happen overnight. There's some problems that are just going to take time. You're going to have to beat on them to get them there. But you have to look at, hey man, I'm making progress.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like a calculated risk. Like, business is a calculated risk. I mean, I'm not being funny. There are 5,000 bars from here to Denver.
Yeah.
There are 300, 400, 500, customization retail shops from here to Denver.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. So you can take that as, oh, that's a problem, or you can take that as, oh, that's a challenge, or you can take it even a third way, which I say, oh, this validates my insanity.
Yeah.
It validates my insanity. If everyone else is doing this and they're successful here, then why not me?
Yeah.
Why not my business? And then that's when you have to realize, again, like you said, there's a lot of layers that go into that. How do I separate my business from everyone else? How do we stand out? How do we move forward? How do we sustain ourselves, financially? There's so much to it that a book can't tell you. I mean, you have to experience it.
And you have to get into the grind. You just have to do it. Like you said earlier, you just have to start. You got to get going.
Yeah.
You got to be patient. You got to really do it all.
Yeah.
So, well, Richie, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
We can check out your stuff where?
Yeah, so we're actually online. So we have a website as well, www.thegrittycode.com. We're all on all the social medias as well. So we're on TikTok, Facebook, as well as Instagram. So yeah, you can catch us there.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you being here. Is there anything else you'd like to add, or anything that you think that entrepreneurs out there need to know?
You'll never be ready. You'll never be ready. There'll never be a perfect start. Just manage the issues, the problems, and there's always tomorrow. There's always tomorrow. You're never going to be able to solve everything in one day. There's always tomorrow. So just be patient and stay after it. Stay on the grind.
Cool, man. Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it too.
Cool, man.
Awesome.
It was great talking to Richie today and seeing a lot more about how he runs his business and everything that he does to be successful. I like the fact that he started as a startup down below, and he's grown his business, and he's taking the right steps to get there. And a lot of entrepreneurs need to understand that there is a process to everything, and that each step gets us closer to our ultimate goal. And don't rush the process. Be patient, and good things will come. And just stay persistent. and keep going. And if you fail, just get up and keep moving forward. So thank you for coming down. Remember, guys, like and subscribe to this channel. It helps us out a lot. It helps us get bigger and better guests. And leave us a comment in the comment section. And thank you for watching.
Here's to 5 o'clock somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Here's to a good tan and a buzz with the good ones that we love. Here's to 2 for 1 on ladies' night. Here's to the 19th hole. Anchors down and bottoms up. It's almost time to start the show.